So this is my video reflection for task 6B. I do feel this video, I was able to hit definitely different learning targets than I did in the first video. When I um, did my self-scoring template, once again, I provided scales and rubrics. I've started doing the learning targets document with them where they kind of rate themselves. The two learning targets that we were working on today, I posted on the board and I told them about it. And then at the end of the period, when they did their cool down, which is just kind of like an exit ticket, it's one problem that covers both of those learning targets, and they do it digitally and submit it to me. After they did that, that's when they rank themselves on those two learning targets and just how well do they feel about the problem they turned into me. That is also my formal assessment of individual students. I know it's hard to see that in a video, but that's how we do that. My informal assessment of the whole class, that's when we're doing a discussion and they're answering specific questions. Celebrating successes. I just feel, good job, telling them the ticket system that I did, where I did a drawing in the beginning of the video. I normally do that on Friday, but I wasn't here last Friday. So instead of doing it at the end of the week, I did it today to make up for that. They earn tickets by being on task, following classroom rules, following procedures that they're supposed to be doing. As I'm walking around, that's how they earn their tickets. So the tickets all go in that cup, and at the end of the week, there's a drawing for a prize. So celebrating success that way. When I walked around, I noticed they were doing a good job or they had a good answer. Celebrated it that way. Chunking content into digestible bits. I did that throughout this whole video, mainly because this is a new topic for them. So I'm trying to take it one step at a time. Get the first process we did the input. And once we got good with the input, then we threw in the output also. So it wasn't throwing the whole process at once to them. Helping students record and represent knowledge. That's what function notation is all about, is being able to take a situation and write it in a mathematical way using function notation. Through this, that we were processing new information. This is new to them. Getting them to understand the process, understand the parts of function notation. I thought, I did that throughout the video. They're practicing their skills, strategies, and processes, how to do this. Help them examine errors and reasoning. There were a few kids that were not quite doing it correctly. And as I was walking around, I just quietly pointed out to them, was this the input? Was this the time? What's supposed to go in the parentheses? So I did that a little bit, I felt. Providing resources and guidance. That's where I have them take notes. They have a tracking sheet. That's part of their resources. They have their math book. There's extra help in there, and the cool down was another resource. Identifying critical information. This is crucial for Algebra 1. Reviewing content. I pulled in what we did yesterday into today's. I felt that was, reviewing some content, what we had looked for as far as the independent. Yesterday, we looked for the independent and dependent variables, which we need for the input and output of the function that we were writing today. Helping students reflect on their learning. That's why I like that tracking sheet. When they finished the cool down, they pulled out that tracking sheet and just kind of ranked themselves at where they are right now today. And then we'll pull that out continually throughout this unit. Organizing students to interact. So what I did with my room is I have some pairings, And then I have some students who would rather work on their own and me just come over and help them as they need it. This way, the ones that can work together as a pair, they were able to do that. They were able to compare their answers, they were able to share their answers. And then those that sat by themselves, I went over and tried to work with them and make sure they were on their right track. Noticing when students are not engaged. Usually what I do and what I did during the video is I'm walking around, and if they're not on task, most of the time all I have to do is walk close to them, and all of a sudden they'll start writing and they'll get back to their book. Just my presence will get them engaged again. Managing response rates. I feel like I provide plenty of wait time. I do at some point, I know I have to give a little bit of guidance with a new question. I feel I'm not too bad with that. Physical movement, when we did the birthdays activity, they get to get up and they had to go around and they had to find 5 other people with the birthday. It just provided some movement and a break in the lesson. They were still doing the lesson, but they weren't sitting and just sit and get. Using academic games, I struggle with that one. I feel I felt like that birthdays activity was kind of a game. It was an activity that got them moving and communicating with each other. I'm struggling with the academic games. Providing opportunities for students to talk about themselves. I like to do good things every couple of days, and it just gives them a chance to share something good that's happening in their life. And plus it gives me some insight on what's happening. Like I know that, there's one girl who's going to her grandma's house this weekend, and she's really excited about that. So that'll give me something to talk to her about on Monday after the weekend. But just, I find out which one of my students are deer hunters and which one of my students, last week they told me about a movie that had come out, and just their interest and what they're excited about. So I like to do good things. And, they don't have to share, but if I notice a student who never shares anything, I try to get something out of them to point out everybody's got something good. Physical layout of the classroom, I organize it to where I can get to everybody. And all of any supplies that they need are within reach. So everything is organized to help the students. Understanding students' interests and backgrounds, I get that a lot from Good Things. I know where they're coming from. I know usually during Good Things, I find out some things, about their home life and their situation. That's my biggest reason for not giving homework. Some of these kids, a lot of our kids just don't have a place to do homework effectively at home, or they have too many other responsibilities. They have siblings that they have to watch. Some of my students have jobs they have to go to. It's hard for me to put more work on them when I know what a lot of them go home to. So I've just found that if I give them class time, a practice day, I can get that homework from them in a more effective way, a more real way for them. I feel, as far as the demonstrating value, respect, and for low expectancy students, the class I chose to video today is an inclusion classroom, and that's why partway through it, some of them got up and left with my co-teacher for that period. Actually, I do the teaching, and he'll take them out, and they'll do a lesson more on their grade level. But for that first part, for the major chunk of the lesson, they're here to hear the new information. And I try to treat them just like they're any other student in my room. I wish we had a better way to excuse them from the room, but that's the best we've come up with for right now. And they don't mind it. They kind of like it. Um, Probing incorrect answers with reluctant learners. I did that a little bit as I was walking around, and I noticed some of the things they were writing down was not correct. I kind of helped rephrase the question, and I think I got a better answer out of them that way. Overall, I feel like my lesson today was a very good lesson. The kids were engaged. Students, for the most part, were on task. I didn't have a lot of struggle. The little bit of struggle I did have, we were able to overcome it. Um, I think overall, I like my lesson. I'm anxiously awaiting your feedback and see if I can compare, my learning targets to, or not my learning targets, my evidence to your evidence, so I can see which one of these areas I still need to work on. So I appreciate your input. Thank you very much.